Welcome back to the channel. We got this project. We're going to replace some windows. We've got 10 total windows. We got 1, 2, 3, 4 on the first level. The ones above the propane tanks are up about 4.5 feet in the air. And what we got to do is figure out how we're going to get them up there. The second thing is, if you're going to do a replacement window, a lot of times you can do a lot of work from the inside. We're not going to be doing the same style replacement window. We're not taking off any interior trim. On the second story, there's 2 picture units. One on a 412 pitch. They call it a trapezoid or whatever. And then we've got another, vertical unit. And above this porch, that's up about 17 feet or so, I've got to get another window up there, which is going to be a heavy one, a 50-inch wide. And over there's another 50-inch wide. So I want to take care of all the windows on this side of the house. Well, a lot of the work I do myself. And you can't do it off a ladder and not safely. I've got the lift, but the basket's small. The basket width is, I haven't even measured it, it's less than 4 foot. Let's get a tape out here. About 3 foot. It's 34 inches wide, okay? And it's 26 inches. These are outside dimensions, 26 inches deep. So obviously I can't put a window inside the cage here, basket, and send it up. The way you enter is right here on the lift bar. You lift it up and duck under. If I'm going to put this up against the building, ideally right there is a good spot to put a bracket to hold the window. So I think what I want to do is make something just for this purpose. The price of windows are big bucks. I want to get them up there safely without breaking them. And I want to make some brackets. So this is designed to sit over top of this bracket and get pinned right here. So I haven't taken the basket off before. The controls are inside here. I haven't taken the basket off, but it would probably make good sense to take the basket off, take it out front over where I want to work on it, and see if I can make some brackets, either out of wood, which probably won't last forever, obviously, or weld up some metal brackets that I can clip over this and give me a place to set a window and strap it to the basket, and then possibly a toolbox so that I can put my drills, screws, caulking, spray foam, things like that with me, where I don't have to keep bending down in the basket and take up my floor space. So if I put a basket on the side and I can have it removable, it could be an orange crate with a bracket. You just set it in there kind of thing. But on the outside. And then a bracket probably with some kind of bottom lip. The width of the windows are 3 1/4 inches. So I'm going to want about a 4-inch spacing on the bottom. And then a way to strap it to the top. And ideally it'd be nice if I could make it small enough to hook on the side or the front. That way if I decide put the window here and go through, I don't have to worry about getting in and out of the basket. So I could either take a bunch of dimensions and try it that way, or I can just take the basket off and take it out front. And that's probably what I'll do. The lift is all set up here. We're behind the power line, all this kind of deal. It's all set up nice and level, ready to go. And but I want to get ready for the windows when they do come. And I'm all set. I carry it back, I strap it, and I go. So let's get something designed for this. Well, that was easy. Flip the pin up. It's got a lock on this side. You unlock it, and it pulls out through. Right now, see, you can't remove it. So we'll close this up. The basket sets in that groove and just tilts forward until you put your pin lock in. So that's quite easy. There's a brake light for it. So the basket I just moved up here, and here's where your pin goes. Nice heavy tube. And then, like I said, the base just sits on top of that. So that's kind of neat. I want to do something like that, just something quick and easy. So I brought the lift basket out and I got some dimensions off from it. And we've got 42 inches, 42 and a half inches high, 26 deep, 34 wide. Our window, our largest window, is going to be 50 inches wide. So if the center was here, you know, the window's going to be sticking out 7.5 inches beyond the ends. So that means that I shouldn't have a stop on the end of this. I should just make a hook, a U-shaped hook to support the bottom. And then that'll basically sit on a bracket. That's probably all I need. What I was thinking is, if I measure the narrowest, which is the sides, the thing I have to worry about is our safety bar has to slide up and down. So nothing can be attached here. It can be attached here or here. And so I would like this universal to hook on this side and this side. Obviously it hooks to the lift over there, so we can't do that. The bottom of this is steel. The bottom is diamond plate, painted white. We get pretty good traction in it, and it's got 4 drain holes. I want to consider making something that's, you know, permanent. Something that I can throw in the shed and bring it out every time. If I make it out of wood, it gets abused. It might get cut up or something. But if I paint it white, I weld it out of steel. What I was thinking, I don't have any examples out here, but I did go and look. And I got, yeah, I don't have any examples out here that's going to work. But if I make a track that slides down over this, up, over, down, out, and up, so it'll be like a shape of an S, then the weight would hook right onto that. And as long as it's not deeper than this, if I set the basket all the way on the ground, it won't knock it off. I won't have to worry about safeties on it. And with weight in it, it can only slide left or right. So I think I should be concerned with just making a base. And then up here I could do either bungee straps, either on this side or this side, just something to go around it. Or I could make some kind of bracket. You know, I don't know till I get to that point. I got to do some measuring. Like I said, if it goes this way and I'm putting up the large window and bringing it off to the side, then it has to go 7.5 inches that way or this way. And so I can't have a bracket in the way. Unless the bracket was right here and went off this way and I have to slide the window in. That might be a good idea. Then it's got a stop on this side where it can't tip out. That's my concern. And then I could put just a bungee or ratchet strap around it and unhook it when I'm in the air. But because of the cost of the windows, big bucks, that I don't want to have a mishap and break a glass, drop a window, break something, damage something else, you know. And, you know, I've seen guys just throw them on top of here, do whatever, hang on. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to get them up there kind of safe. And this will give me a working, you know, an area to work on. Like here's a recent job we did with some of that spread rock, an empty bucket. I could just strap a bucket, you know, put a bucket hook there and throw my tools in it. This wiggles around. I kind of want to do like a orange crate box, something like that, where I could probably put a couple hooks on and it just hooks on the opposite side of where I do the window. And that way, like I said, everything's there. I don't have to bend down and lose my, I don't know, lose the edge of the window. I don't have to, it's right here. I can stand up and do the work. So I want to do these 2 projects. I think this is good. Let me, I'll measure the width of this. Whatever I make, I want something that looks similar. And I think we'll probably just MIG weld it. I think the window, I think we have to have it be able to hold, I don't know, 80 pounds or something. I don't know how much a window's going to weigh. Probably not quite that. Well, maybe it will, that big one. And the tool bucket, you know, not much, 20 pounds. And But I still don't think I'm going to exceed the weight rating or anything, but I want to make some brackets. Let me go hunt up some steel, do some measuring. Ideally, if one whole side was flat, like the back side, and it had a hook up here, I could just set it over the top of this. And then I don't have to worry about it tipping outward, you know. It'll come in and rest on this. That might be an idea too. And that's what the measurements are for. And like I said, as long as it's not longer than this, it won't slide back and forth because it'll fit in here without a problem. So that's what we're going to go with. Let me see what I can come up with now for metal. Before I leave here, I should take the rest of them. We got 1 inch thick. Okay, I don't know what thickness steel this is. Probably only 1/8 inch or 3/16 or something. And but we're 1 inch thick. It's a 1x2. This one's a 1x1. And the space is 24 inches. And then this bottom is 4 inches high. And that's like, it's pretty thin. That's like 1/8. So I'll write all them numbers down. I'll go check the steel I got, make sure it's going to work. I got 55-gallon barrels of cutoffs that I keep from projects. So I got brackets and all kinds of things and cutoff steel. Let's see something that would look good. This is tube. I do have some tube, but I don't know if it's going to help us in this unless I do like 2 verticals. If I had 2 verticals that came up over and hooked on, then that would give the window a spot to lean against. It would hit this and keep the window out 1 inch or whatever. And then this side, we got to keep out the thickness of this bar. And this is, it's like 5/8 anyway. Yeah, it's not quite 3/4, bigger than half. And it sticks out from the side 1 inch. So whatever we do on this side has to actually come out 1 inch farther than this, so that I could clear. And then, like I said, I'd have to have the window leaning against the porch or wherever, me in the basket, lower the basket down, grab the window, set it on our bracket, and then put my safety strap on, and then go up, and then it's right in front of me, kind of in the way. Maybe once I get the windows removed, the window removed, the one I do at that time, I wouldn't care if the window's out here because that's the first thing I'm going to do is set it right up in there. So I hope this isn't a waste of time. I don't think it is. Otherwise, I got to hire a couple of helpers, probably one inside, maybe another guy outside to help me. And I don't think it's necessary. I think it's going to help me in the long run. And after taking this off, this pin right here is the same pin and this latch for the truss hook, so you can set trusses like a crane, and kind of neat. But I do need the basket because I have to be in it, so everything's got to be built on the outside. I'll be back. I got to find some stuff. All right, I've got this piece of channel. It's a little short, but it doesn't have to be the full width, right? It's about 19 inches. What I do like about it is it's 4 3/4 inches wide by an inch, almost an inch and a half deep. So if I take a window and set in there, say this is a window, it won't kick out, you know, the weight of it should hold. Now I could take these uprights, and these are pretty heavy. I don't remember what I had them from, but these are 3/16. I could weld them like here and here. I don't know if I like that yet. I'll show you on one. I could drill through and put a bolt. I don't know if I want the bolt in the way. I could weld it on. I'd still end up with 4 1/8 inch plus so the window would fit in there. I do want to have it a little bit of movement on it, you know, when I tilt and bring it out. So I should carpet line that or do something so it's soft if it's sitting in there, you know. And if I put it on this side, then this bar would stay flat. And I like that. And I'd probably lift the bar up slightly so it's not on the bottom. I don't want it below the basket. Because if I set the basket down, I don't want the basket touching the ground, pushing this piece off. And then I got a bunch of these things. I'm not sure if I want to use them, but example is, see if I got a shorter one here, like this. If I put one here, that fits over it. And if I took two of them and I welded them together, I got a C, because I don't have any more C. I probably should go buy something. Dawson's cutting his countertop over there. I gave him a straight edge, some clamps, and a saw. But you see, now I made a C channel, and I could weld right here, and I could weld in here. And this could be permanent, just sitting on there. See, that won't come off. I could do one right here. So if I do two of them, and I put a spacer between one of them so that when they go to sit on there, they're not like super tight, you know what I mean? Let's say I did two of them. And then I put this against it. And I either welded or bolted that to it because there's room enough. That should work. The problem with two of them is on the front, we've got this bar that goes up and down. So I could take the foam off this and just use the bar for that. That's probably what I could do. That's probably what I should do. And then this idea should work on both of them. So if I made one here, I think a weld is good because the weight of the window, you know, we're going to have less than 100 pounds on this. I can't imagine lifting anything heavier than that. If I was to do a picture window unit or something huge, I probably wouldn't be using a lift. I'd have some helpers. These are just single windows. And so, two of these in the upright, like that, put against two of them, weld them together. They're heavy steel, so I should get nice heat on that. And these brackets are pretty heavy too. I think that would work. And then if I was going to slide the window in here, move these out of the way so they don't hit me. If I was to slide the window in here, I could take a strap, maybe go around here, around the window, and have it just unhook and dangle and slide my window out. And if I slid it out here on the front, oh, wait a minute, we could change the design already, guys. We could change this whole design already, if we wanted to, by doing something similar, but using this and this top one. Then I wouldn't have to mess with this bar at all. And I can still sneak out through here, it doesn't matter, but I can go over this, whatever. So we could do the same thing by taking, I got some more of these shorter ones, but putting them in here so it hooks on that. And in that case, this thing would be up here. I don't know if I want it that high, but I could, right? Then it's definitely not going to touch the ground. It's probably a better idea because if it was all the way down here and I set the window on there, and if I'm out, the ground's unlevel out there, if I set the window in there, the edge of the window might be in the grass and getting all icky right away, where this would elevate the window if I brought it up to here. And then this would be moved around and work the same on the front. I think we got it figured out. I think that's what we'll do. And then This will fit over any of these, and I think we only need it on 2 of them. But I think down here, obviously if it was a little tighter, but if it was tighter, then it would move it in, it would interfere with this. Right now, it would be out beyond this. So I think that's what we got. We're going to weld these together. I'll go get 2 more of this size so that it works on the side or the front. We'll use this channel for the base. Weld them up and set them on there, weld them on the top. Not weld them on the top, but weld them together so they're loose. And then these will get cut to length so that they're elevated up like that. And I don't want this sticking up in the way, I don't believe. I don't think so. That'd be dangerous probably. Maybe cut them off. And then I could throw this in the shed and it'll be, I'll just label it what it is as a bracket to move windows on the lift, you know. I like that idea. Let's get started. I gotta get the chop saw so I can cut the metal. I could use a cutoff wheel for this small stuff probably. Maybe I'll use a cutoff wheel. And then probably the MIG welder. The arc welder is way over there. So we'll use a MIG welder on this project. And then I got this orange crate. I wish it was larger, but this will probably work. I could just make the same kind of bracket and just set it right up here. This would tend to want to swivel down, so that's where those uprights are nice, because you're leaning against it, you know. I could put it out on the corner, probably, like that. Yeah. And then it won't want to tip out. This will want to roll under. But you could put your stuff in that and be up here where you can reach it versus bending down in the bucket and stepping on the stuff. So that's what I want to do. I got all my brackets. I got all this out. Now I'm going to get, it's getting late. It's almost dark. I don't know how you can see that, but it's pretty dark here. I'll have to continue this tomorrow. But I've got my game plan. I've got enough brackets. I got uprights. I got everything. I got the MIG welder. I recently put a roll of wire in it. I think that should be good to go. And I probably even have some white paint somewhere so we can get it looking a little better. And then we'll get welding this up. Good morning. We've got some beautiful flowers out. Check this out. Nice, huh? Fall's approaching quickly. It's bright and early, foggy. Let me get a start. We got some nice fall colors starting here. Got another tree back over here. But let me get this metal out here and we'll get some welding happening. The lights are still on. I got my 2 pieces clamped together with vice grips. Want to run a bead across here, here. I'm not going to do a continuous. I'll just do like a stitch, whatever. And then I've got my Lincoln 140. I'm going to set it on probably wire speed 2.5 to 3 and temperature C. Might be a little hot, but let's see how it does. Get my helmet out, see what happens here. And what I'll do is I'll make 2 of these the same thing, and they both should fit right on. And I'll probably, well, let's see how this goes. I have a little trouble seeing. I keep saying it every time I weld something. But let's see how this goes. Get organized here. We'll weld right on this basket here, and maybe I don't need to clamp it down or anything. Not too bad, I guess. Let me move this over here. Yeah, I think I'll do that across here. every 4 inches or so. I think I gotta lighten this up a little. Getting pretty good penetration on it. I just keep changing my settings till I like it. Let's see what we got. Can't see. I can't see, guys. We'll turn this down. I can see. Now it's too light. Not too bad. Good penetration on that. First one's a little bit ugly. Maybe I'll fix that first one. That's better. Not too bad. Heat might be a little hot on that, but let me flip this around. I gotta get the clamp out of here. Put it on the vice grip maybe. That's be on the outside. And it's backwards for me. Turn it around. Yeah, see, we need to do a bead inside of there. See how this works. We'll do them about every 4 inches. Ooh, that one's a good one. The first one isn't too bad. I like that. This over just a little bit. That was not the prettiest. And then I think I'll do one right on this end. Don't need a lot of grinding. Put this like this. Don't need that on there. Okay, let's see how we did. Keep these on there because she's hot. And we got, those aren't bad. That was a little bit ugly, I said in the beginning, but those aren't bad. I'll probably want to touch them a little with a grinder. The needle scaler works pretty good. These inside ones, that end one is a little scratch, but those are pretty good. We had a ball started here when I marked it in the wrong spot, but I think that's gonna work pretty good. We just got to do 2 of these. So let's just show you how I wanted to mount them, like this. That's it. And they're going to sit over top of this. They're going to be up at 90 degrees. And then we'll put our verticals on that. So when that cools down a little bit, I'll grind on it. While this is cooling, we'll start the second one. Might put her on time lapse. Alright, I set my C channel up here. And I think it's going to work better if I have the whole C channel open. Why put this piece in there and limit my width if it's a certain window or whatever I want to lift up there? So I'm going to put that on the outside, and I got to square it up probably a mile out. It's out by a little bit. So I'll get a hammer, tap that over, weld one on, measure, get the other one welded on. See how good this will work with a MIG. This is 3/16 on both of them for steel. Well, that's pretty close right now, so let's see if we can get a tack on that. As you can see, I'm not grinding anything, I'm being lazy. I'll grind at the end, but if this works, it works, you know. This isn't for a beauty pageant, it's just to get my windows for this project. Let's see how she takes if I need to grind it. Right. Well, I grind where the, I know, right on here. And then I do have my grinder handy. Don't have the disc in it I want, but touch this just a little. See how that does. I better check, see if I moved it. did not. Let's see how this does. Probably have to make about 3 passes on it. Looks like it's going to work. I think I'll just touch the grinder every pass. I'll put it back on time lapse. But what I want to do, weld here, here, there, and there. So that's going to be a good weld. Square this up. Same thing on this one. And then we got to cut the tops, and then we're going to weld our brackets on the back. We got to do a little careful measuring, or we could probably go ahead and set our brackets on the machine here and weld them like that so we know they're in the right spot. Oh, there's a little toad. He was under the light here. It's just getting daylight. Sun's starting to peek over the hill here. I ground them off. I'm pretty satisfied with that, I guess. You know, I'm not a welder, obvious. What I want to do is make sure there's no sharp spots. The penetration went pretty good, but it's not beautiful. Now if we put this down there, I don't know if you can see that. Probably not. See, if I put that down there, both sides will be the same. And the front will be a little different because this piece sticks out 1 inch. And I think as long as I keep this center bracket up this 5/8 of an inch, I can pull this foam off, and that same bracket will work over our safety bar plus the top. Or I don't do that at all, and I just put these, I didn't grind these down yet. Are they cooled enough? But if you could see, if we put them down here, then that'll hold it from kicking out at the bottom. And I can put it up here at the top and do the same thing. So I think it's going to be a win. And like I said, what I'm going to do is probably rest this on, maybe I'll get a 2x4 or something. So I rest it up in the air just a little bit. So if I bring the basket all the way to the ground on the lift, that it doesn't touch this and push this up. I'll keep this up in the air just a biscuit. And so I'll get that. I'll throw this bracket on there like that. We definitely got to use the top one. So we'll weld them on. And then maybe the center one's not a good idea because of this bar. And I'll just do the bottom. And I think that'll work great. We just lift it, take it off, set it back on. I like it. So I'll get a 2x4, raise this up, tack this on, and then I'll tack that on. And I think as long as they're resting all the way down on that, there is no other adjustments I need to make because they'll both be the same. And then it won't affect the front at all. I like that. So I'll set this up again on a 2x4. Be right back. Okay, so I got my bracket sitting over here. I didn't even grind it yet. These are too tall. I told you I'm not sure if I want to cut them off or not. I may not. For a taller window or something, give me more support, especially if I slide a piece of foam or something over it. Might be a good idea to protect our window. And then I clamp that, so now I can run a bead on that. I'll do the same for the top and the bottom. And let's see how that goes, right? If I can see, right? I want to get a good tack on it, and then we can take it off in there and weld it so then I don't get our basket all burnt, hot burnt, you know. And I need to get some of that splatter shield and any little thing I can get to help me weld, because I'm not a welder, you know. I basically know how, but I'm not a welder. And we'll get a tack on this one. Like that. And then we'll take it right off in there and weld that. Or what I should do, if I want to unclamp it, I don't think it'll hurt, is just do the bottom one at the same time here. Pull this over, clamp it the same, and then weld this one off. Then we can do them both at the same time, get them away from this basket. Like that. Get this tacked off. Now we'll take it right out of here and we'll weld her up. And then we can grind it, clean it, and probably I'll hunt up a little bit of paint Be nice if I had spray paint, be faster. But let's see what I got. I'm not going to buy anything for this project. Just like most of these projects, it's just leftover materials from other projects. Well, I got the welding done. Chicken scratch as it is. Some of them are pretty good. And I don't know, the wire speed is between 2.5 and 3, but it'll shoot out wire, stop, shoot out wire, like that. And I was like, what the heck? So I'm monkeying with that, changing the tensioner. I don't know. I didn't get a smooth wire feed on it, but I don't know. I'll read on that and see what's the deal. I'm going to grind these off now. We got some slag on it. We'll see what we got. I'll grind these up, get this cleaned up a little bit. We'll test it out. All right, the moment of truth, guys. Get my 2x4 out of here. Now, get my welding cables out of the way. I'll swing this around. Would make more sense this way. It rained a little last night. All right, so we got these brackets, top and bottom. The welds, they're not beautiful. The penetration is really good. I welded the cages together, the two hooks, the C-channel, and then I welded all around, welded the end, welded here, welded there, there, everywhere. And then the big C-channel welded here, there, and the top. So everything's welded there. It weighs about, I would say, in the 20-pound range. And I think this should work fine. This is going to be hooked on the front if we do it this way. So you just reach up and set her on. And then we set our window in there. And the width of this C-channel is 4 3/4. So this is going to be considered a 5-inch. It's 5 1/4 outside, 3/16. There's no way, like this can slide, but there's no way it can come out of there unless you lift it up 1.5 inches. So this can't come out. We can take and mount it both ends and the front. Just drop it in there. And these sticking up, I'm not sure if I'll leave them on yet or cut them off. Probably better if I cut them off. But it might give additional support or me handles to lift up. And then the only thing I think I should do is maybe glue a little carpet on it, you know, or a foam noodle or something. And this should do the trick. And now I'm just going to search for some paint. You can see the paint on here. It's never been painted, I don't think. But, you know, that could be another day. Or we'll put some paint on that because this, you know, bare metal will rust faster. And I think the project is pretty good. I don't know what you think about it. Let me go grab a window and I'll show you. I've got a used window here somewhere. All right, I brought this window out. And I've got one of these little cam lock bungees. I got a few of these. I just set them right on there. I bring my window, lean it up against it. Set this up in there. I don't remember what this window was out of. And then all I got to do is pull on the cam. And if I'm inside the lift, it'd be easy to do. And just do that, and then the window can't come out at the top. Or if I move them up, you got to kind of think of this stuff ahead. Do I want a nice hook, or do I want to bend one of these hooks out a little larger because it doesn't quite fit over that. I could go around that, but I don't want it to slide up in the air. So ideally, if it was somewhere in this location, like that, and then I do this one, I could do this one in the same spot, or just go right around itself, and then just pull on this. Now our window can't move outwards. What do you think of that? The base sits in there, like that. These stick up. I could use them for handles. I would assume if it's taller glass, I don't want the glass leaning on them. I have a couple windows that are going to be 65s. So let's see where that runs. Tape measure right here. Yes, always lose your tape measure. But 65 would be quite tall. It'd be up in here. So I think either these have to be padded, which probably is a good idea, because if I cut them off, then the window itself can lean on this. And we got two of them that are 50. Actually, a lean on this, not this. So I think if I take some foam and slide them over that, I grabbed the nearest piece I had, but if we do something like this, or it might make sense if I go all the way down and do like pool noodles on it, you know, and notch it around and tape it right on there. Put a piece of tape. Now we've got cushion. That's the plan, guys, because then if the glass happens to be near it, it's cushioned. And I got a few of these, so we can tape it on. I guess what I should do, and then I could also use a ratchet strap. I got a bunch of small ratchet straps if I'm really concerned going up in the air. I can ratchet it tight. Now I can do that even up in here. But it would make sense right there. That way it can't slide up and off. And then put the pool noodles on it. I'll get this painted. And we'll see what that looks like. Alright. I didn't have any usable white paint. I got cans of Rust-Oleum white, but they don't spray. They're expensive and they don't spray. You let them sit on a shelf 6 months, they don't work. I had some of this, I don't know, tan, metallic, whatever it is, Duplicolor, left over from a project. I think I sprayed a bumper or something, and that worked. So it's not going to be the same color, but see, this white needs refinishing anyway. So we'll do it all at the same time if we want to. So anyways, it's not going to rust right away. We can throw this in the shed. I took two of the noodles, notched it around here so it sticks up high enough. Now we got a place to rest our window. We can go ahead and set this right on there, and it can't go anywhere. It can't pull out. And this one doesn't move up here, but the bottom is that thin 1/8. And the reason is if we want to put it in the front, see this? That's pretty tight now in the front. And then I should be able to still lift my bar, safety bar up and down. That should work fine. And this will work on all three sides. No problem. And then, so example, if I put my window, whatever side I'm working on, I put my window on this side. What I did is I drilled 4 holes. I had some bolts. I put 2 bolts on this side. I went out in the shed and I found this old toolbox. I don't know what it fits. But what I like about it is it's got holes for screwdrivers, which is good for replacement windows. I drilled 2 holes. See if they line up. Check that out. So we put the washer and nut on there. I was thinking about making a bracket where this just sits on, but I don't want this to be able to fall down. So, because it's pretty light, you know. So I can do that. The bolts come out. Pretty simple. This bracket can come off. We'll throw it on the front. And you put the bolts back in on this side. And they can go both directions because the bolts coming in, we can put our toolbox on the outside, we can put the toolbox on the inside. There's still room for me to sit in there, stand in there. So I got that. My orange crate's an old Crowley, went out of Binghamton business years back. And they had a bunch of get rid ofs. So I got some of these. And then that. So there's my basket. This is heavier duty. But this has holes in it, you know. If I throw a drill in it, that's fine. But if I put screws in there, I don't want to drop them. That's where the toolbox will work good. But if I want to put this on like permanent right now, not really permanent, put it on there. Throw my washer on. Nut. I've been out here, what time is it? I've been out here about 2 hours, and we got about a half an hour last night. So we got about 2.5 hours invested. I didn't buy anything, just stuff I had laying around. So price-wise, I'm pretty happy. Obviously, I can tighten this up with a wrench. I'm not going to do, but see, you get the idea. This won't fall off in there. We can take our drill. Say we're going to do windows, whatever. I want drill bits. I want different things up there. I just throw them in there. Put a lot of stuff in there. Throw a drink in there probably. And then what I can do is put bolts on both sides. Put my toolbox on both sides. I put hardware and then tools. And then while I'm up there, because a lot of times when you go up in your lift, you get all the way up there, you get situated, and you're like, oh, I forgot the caulk, you know. I don't like to put tools and materials together. I don't like them in my toolbox that way. Sometimes a tube of caulk, some tape, screws, stuff like that falls in the toolbox. I don't like that. I like separate. And so I think this is going to work. 2.5 hours. Got some welding wire in there. We got a couple bolts, washers, nuts I had. 2 of these we borrowed off from a project. Dawson made some bow stands to put your bow on for 4-H that he doesn't do anymore. So I just took them off. Some tape I had. The brackets. A homeowner gave me a bunch of them brackets when I was doing work on her building. She said they're in the way, throw them out. And I'm like, yeah, I'll throw them out right to my house. I like them. I use them for a lot of things. And I can still fit inside there. So, you know, I'll show you the example. If I put my window, whatever, on this side, I grab my window. I would handle it more gently than this old one. But I take my window, throw it on there. That doesn't look like it'll tip at the moment. And I've got my my strap handy. You saw me put my straps on. There's a lanyard hook right here on this side. So maybe I should do something like that on that side. But I could go around here, hook it in the lanyard hole, and then just cinch it tight, you know, just pull. Like that. Now our window can't fall off in there. And then we got our tools on one side. And then you got to duck on this because it's low. But here it is. I'm on the lift. I could do my controls right here. Reach over, grab my drill. I can unhook my window. I can bring this around. I could take this, put it on the front, bring my window up, and I'm right there to go on, which is probably more like what I'm going to do. But I think this is well worth it. I don't know what you think. Put a comment down there and see what you think. But having a basket on a lift that open, you're always dropping something. I'm always dropping something when I'm working, like when I did the gutter project. I had nowhere to put stuff, you know. So putting holders on does not affect the lift. The weight would probably be better if it was on this side because it would be centered versus on one side. But the windows, this one is probably about the average size we're going to use. It's about 40 pounds, maybe 35. A couple of them big windows I think are going to be more towards 100 pounds. Maybe, maybe not. And then I think this project's coming to a close. So other than the color not being white, which doesn't matter because this needs a little refurbishing anyway, I'd like to paint all the lift blue and then all the white. You know, someday when you say you don't have any time, I don't have any time. And, oh, I didn't even set that bracket on properly there. I just threw it on quick. But they fit on there well. Let me show you here. I don't know if you can see it, but see how they sit right in there. And that can't fall off. That gives me handles to lift up on it, to set it off. I'm quite pleased. I'm kind of proud of myself, right? It's not the best metal out there, but for carrying up a 50-pound window or whatever, 100 pounds, it'll probably carry a person out there. It's pretty heavy. And these baskets are going to be handy. I thought about drilling holes in the front to be able to put a basket out there, but a lot of times you're reaching forward. You don't want it. The other thing is when I'm up trimming trees, you know, I could take the chainsaw, take some of this stuff out of there. I like to use them little electric battery operated chainsaws when I'm on a lift, but I could throw an extra battery in there, throw the chainsaw in there, put the guard on it. Let's see how that'll fit. And these aren't tight, you know, but I could do this. I could probably throw the gas chainsaw in there. I should put the guard on it, but I don't see why a basket wouldn't work for that, you know. See that? I could probably put, I don't know, I'm not up there long enough to put gas or oil in it, so what else would I need, right? Pair of gloves. I always have goggles on. Maybe ropes, something like that. Maybe a chain. That'd be pretty cool. So, let me know what you think in the comments. 2.5 hour project. No money involved. It's going to get me started to my window project. When my windows come in, I want to get started on that, so follow along with the channel. It's a little bit different than my average window install because we have sheathing on the house and then we have siding on the house. And I don't want to take all the siding off. I don't want to cut the siding way back. I don't want to retrim everything. I don't want to make this a bigger project. So we're going to do a replacement style window by cutting the flanges and then try to push them out and push them in. So if that works, great. I'll be happy. We'll know when we get started. I got a little bit of roofing to do, and I got to take a pressure washer up on the roof, 2 roofs, and I think these baskets will be handy to put different parts or something into, like a brush, whatever, for cleaning, some gloves, and yeah, I'm happy, guys. Thanks for watching. See you soon. Remember to like, subscribe, and comment. Take care.